Hey everybody, this is Albert Corey with another edition of Rock Your Bottom podcast. Today we're going to talk about, did you know our website's dead? My guest today is going to ask the questions, do business owners need a website? Why is it important? And could your business grow? So our guest today is going to be Matt Wolfshane. He's a web designer. And one of the things I will always talk about is you've got to go to events. A couple of weeks ago, we met at an event. We became friends. It doesn't matter whether it's virtual or live. You got to go in events because I will tell you, sharing is caring and connections, you know, connections are the key to success. It's the who's that's going to take you to the next level, not the whys. So, Mr. Matt, take it away. And what's your name and what do you do?
Hey, thanks, Albert. Appreciate you having me. And I couldn't agree more. Those events, those connections, that's really how we make the dream work, right? I like to say your net worth is your network, and you can't build that network if you're not getting out there. So couldn't agree more. Great. Well, yeah, Matt Woldersheim, Director of Partnerships and Biz Dev here at Smack Happy Design. We're a really cool, fun, visionary website design firm headquartered in San Francisco. I've been in websites for 26 years. Geez, I built my first one in 1999. This was before Google went public. Used to do pay-per-click on a site called goto.com. I thought it was a pretty big hot shot. I was in sophomore year of college making money on a website I started. Passion for it. And I love talking about this topic because with AI and the different ways people are doing things, people love to say that, hey, our website's dead. Why aren't they dead? Well, here we go. Let's dig in a little bit.
Well, I'll ask you a question. How did you get in, especially back in the Stone Ages of the internet? In like 5 seconds or less, how did you get into something like that? In something that was in 96 and 95. That was in the beginning of the Stone Ages for the internet,
Yeah.
light
Yeah.
years ago.
It was. It was. Honestly, I saw a hole. I saw an area in the market that needed help. Inexpensive home security was my first website. I was trying to sell inexpensive security products to renters that you could not ruin your whole infrastructure of your apartment, and you could still get something that would protect you from break-ins and things like that. So that's how I got into it, and I was always kind of passionate after that. My next company was also an online-based business, service-based business that was global, which just goes back to the testament of your reach with a website is just the ultimate thing. I mean, there's just nothing else like it anymore.
Okay, we're going to get to let's get to the fun things first.
Sure.
What's some of the fun things you like to do when you're not doing websites?
Well, I live in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm right across the bridge in James Island. So I'm on the beach. We do a lot of boating, beaching, pools. And I'd say when I'm inside, I love to cook. That's kind of my passion. I cook
Favorite, since
seafood and
if I was going to my next
yeah.
question. So for my birthday, what would the thing you would cook to give me an amazing birthday gift?
Are you a seafood fan, Albert?
Yes, extremely. South Florida,
Okay.
dude, of course.
Yeah, there. All right, there we go. We're good then. I like to do a smorgasbord of different seafood dishes. So I would probably start out with the crab cakes as kind of an appetizer, move into a seared scallop, and then I have this just beautiful ahi tuna recipe where I just get a great crust on there, rare in the middle, crusty on the outside, and then usually I make like a shrimp pasta as a finisher and then a nice little dessert. So I really like to fill you
Enough,
up.
because I'm getting hungry, dude. I'm trying to be skinny. By the way, you did the magic thing. See, the cost of you being on this free stuff is you got to send me some crack cake. Sorry, you said the magic word. All right,
Deal, deal.
let's get on to the real thing. All right, what we're about is teaching business owners. So now,
Mhm.
what's three things we can teach business owners to grow their business? Why websites are important.
Sure, sure. Yeah, let's dig right in. I think a lot of people are so focused on social media these days. So the first thing I want to mention is Your website's your central hub for your brand. No matter what, it's your permanent home. It's a controlled environment where your brand, your voice, your content live without the mercy of a social algorithm. We like to say it's where you can be your most authentic self. So I love this, Albert, because an analogy we talk about is renting versus owning. You know, your website is like the home that you own. You own the land, you own the house. Sure, you've got maintenance, your mortgage is maintenance and hosting. But with social media, that's just your voice that you rent on someone else's platform. With your website, you're controlling the data, the design, and the destiny. I think that's so important in these days because ownership beats renting. You know, with the social algorithm, it's essentially a slumlord that may evict you. And we know this from seeing what's happening with social media. You know, you see MySpace, for instance, if you and I are both old enough to remember that. That's basically gone. You see audience changes, like so what happened with Twitter or X. People kind of left that platform, certain people. You see TikTok with bans being brought up. Oh, is it going to get banned? Is it not going to get banned? Your website is there permanently. So I think that's very important to say it's the digital real estate that can live on forever.
Tip 2.
Tip 2, I'd say credibility and conversions. At the end of the day, people are still Googling you. If your website looks outdated or, geez, worse, it doesn't even exist, you're going to lose trust instantly. A modern professional website signals you're legit, you're reliable, and you invested in your business. Because let's be honest, why would someone invest in your product or your service if you haven't even really invested in yourself? It's often the last place someone visits before hitting buy or book now or contact us. So if you don't have a website, say you just have a Facebook page, you look like a side hustle, not a serious business.
By the way, not interrupting, but we went through that. We didn't get the contract, but I ran into somebody at an event where
Sure.
she was trying to raise money. And we were in the same group, mentoring group and thing. And the first thing the guy told her was, "What's your website?" She goes,
Yep.
"I don't have one." And she's trying to raise 100K,
Oof.
and we kind of like try to talk her, but she
Sure.
said she could do it herself, and that was the end of it. But it's exactly what you say. All
Yep.
right. It's
Yep.
exactly what you say, that you got to have something out there. So people always, let me ask you this one question. True and
Yeah.
false. Are they going to check you out before they buy from you?
100%.
Especially, man, then I'll put it another way. So is this correlation true? The higher the ticket item, the better your website has to be.
I agree with that. Absolutely. Yep.
And explain that again. Why, if you're selling higher tickets, and I'm defining higher tickets, anything over, I tell you, even me, anything over $300. Why is a good website important for higher ticket items?
Yeah, it's a great question. I look at it as back to that investment point. People are smart and they're looking at 10 different vendors before they land on one. If you're not investing in yourself, in your branding, your logos, your beautiful functional website, why would they invest in your product? I mean, it makes sense that a beautiful website equals a beautiful product. And so the higher you go to like Honda's website, it's gorgeous. Buy a Honda for 30 grand. You go to, Jimmy's used cars down the street. Sure, he's selling a little bit of a lower price point. His website might not be as nice, but it still needs to be there. It still needs to be updated and look good to attract buyers. But here's an interesting point, Albert, on that. We sometimes get people who come through and say, I just need a splash page. I just need a quick contact us page. And they say, we don't use it for marketing.
Time out.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
ask you a question.
Sure.
See, I didn't mean it that way. Okay, so I'm speaking English now. Explain to us what is a splash page.
Sure. So just, a splash page, this is a term we used to use, geez, like 20 years ago, where it was basically just a big call to action. One single page, maybe a couple pages, but basically it just says, here's who we are, here's what we do, maybe a quick portfolio and a quick contact us. But it doesn't give that vision. It doesn't show people that you gave a crap about your product or service. And you can build these now. 20 years ago was a lot harder, but now you can grab Wix or Squarespace or whatever.
Okay,
But
now my next question.
yeah,
Sorry.
you're good.
Okay, sorry if I'm interrupting you. I'm just because as you say stuff, I'm
I love
coming
it.
with questions.
Sure.
So when, I guess the question, when should somebody use Squarespace or Wix or when not? I guess when should you use it or why not use it? Whatever way you
That's
want
it.
to spend it.
We kind of struggle with this question a little bit because there we actually talked about this and we had some great LinkedIn posts. If you check out Smack Happy's recent stuff, we were talking about the difference between a $700 website and what we do. And really, it's all about when you want to use the website to build that connection and trust needed to close a deal. That's when you come to a group like Smack Happy. And let me just focus it down a little. Businesses come to us specifically when they want to stand out from the rest, when they want their website to truly present who they are, along with their level of professionalism. If you're just looking to say, hey, I'm Bob's plumber, I just need to put something up, and maybe also you're very budget conscious because you simply just don't have the budget right now, sure, maybe that $700 website will work for you then. And then hopefully, as the years go on and you build your business, you come to a group like Smack Happy and say, okay, now I have a vision. Now
And
I
then I
need to
have
build
another
a,
question for you.
yeah.
When Wix says it's free, tell the world that Wix is not. It seems like it's free. And then I'll tell you what happened to one of my customers. And then,
Sure.
which is crazy. It's,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
way, I will validate what you're saying. So I had a customer who was doing a film festival. He had it on Wix. Why he had it on Wix? Because he didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so would you equate? I know I keep going around in circles, but I keep coming up.
You're
By
good.
the way, if you haven't figured out, everybody, when I do these, anytime you watch Rock Your Bottom podcast, nothing is scripted. As we go along, I come up with the questions. So would you say that I forgot my question. Oh, about budgeting. So what you're saying is basically, even if you're low budget, okay, that you can't really use Wix. Wix and all these other ones are really, really if you just started. So would you say that everybody needs to spend, or at least that should be, if you're trying to be a startup business, they need to put in the budget to make even a 4-page website, not necessarily Wix, but go to somebody, pay for a hosting, correct, and make
Yep.
a 4-page website with a domain name.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And going back to your question about or your comment about it not being free, we run into that too. At the end of the day, it isn't free. You need someone who's going to do maintenance. You need to update plugins. You need to pay for hosting, and you need to pay for good hosting. No one's spending more than 2 seconds on a site that isn't loading properly, right? So if your hosting isn't doing the job for you, you need to switch that as well.
Right. Okay. Give me that was the second tip. Give me a third tip. Maybe that was
Okay.
give me another tip.
One thing I want to go back on the second one just briefly is we get a lot of people saying, hey, we don't use the website for marketing, so why does it need to be great? And this is what we always say. When someone's on the fence about doing business with you, your website is the tiebreaker. You don't have a website, or a website that screams 2010, you're going to lose that sale before the conversation even starts. So I think that's really important because we get a lot of people like, oh, I just need something that goes up. We don't use it for marketing. You're going to use it for marketing because your customers are using it for marketing. And that's what matters. We need customer-centric websites. Okay, so I'll go on to number 3. Here's the going back to AI. Everyone wants to say, oh, SEO is dead. Well, look, it's still not dead. SEO still drives traffic. Search engines haven't stopped working. And even if AI is driving every single search in the future, it's not going to matter because at the end of the day, Google is still sending billions of people to your website every single day. When someone searches for what you offer and your site shows up, that's traffic that are of people who are already interested. No social algorithm is going to be able to match that kind of purchase intent. But here's the other thing I love on the side of organic. It's not just organic, and this goes back to what I was doing 26 years ago, is you can do paid ads too. Google Ads is still one of the most reliable channels to get in front of customers buying their way to the top of Google. But without a website, you're invisible. Your competitors are going to show up and they're going to cash in, and you're kind of just sitting there on the sidelines.
Here, I have another question.
Yeah,
Explain, okay, explain how keywords work.
sure,
Or let me put it another way. How does Google, now use me as an example.
sure.
How would somebody find a tax office? Why is keyword still, you just said the magic word. Why is keyword still important in 2025? And first, well, let me change it up again. What is a keyword and why is it important?
Sure. Well, a keyword is a single word or a string of words. They call them long tail keywords that reflect the product or service that you offer. So what we can do is we can analyze data and say, here's the keywords that people are searching for the most. So we want high volume keywords first and foremost. And a lot of times people are saying, oh, well, this is what we do. But then we check the data and we say, well, no one's searching for that. So we need to find the words that are high intent,
Right.
or I'm sorry, high volume. And then the second is high intent keywords. So we want both high intent and high volume keywords. But the problem here, Albert, is you're in tax planning. People are searching for 1040s or W2s or whatever it may be. Everybody's bidding on those keywords. Everybody's writing content on those keywords. So that's where SEOs come in, where they can say, okay, let's find some low-hanging fruit opportunities, maybe some keywords that not everybody is writing content on, and then also some high volume ones that we're gonna mix into our content, maybe our paid ads, things like that. So that's why keywords are important, but that's why the data is important. A lot of people just kind of gloss over the data and they say, well, I know what I do, and I'm gonna write just about this. Well, you could be going against H&R Block. They're writing about that all day. So you need to find unique, high intent, high volume keywords that are going to attract people to your business.
Can I ask you a crazy question? I want to have
Sure.
your, would you say, I mean, I learned SEO back in the day, and I don't do it, but I understand.
Sure.
So if you're a local business, so would you like set up your words? Like, I'm in the city of Hialeah, Florida, which has like 300,000 people, or
Sure.
it's the largest city in Miami, in the northwest part of Dade County. You understand? Miami's huge. So when you're doing the keywords, and I'm doing accounting, right? Would you go to the lower hanging fruit of me trying to say Miami accounting, which would be entire Miami-Dade County, which is 160 square miles? Or would you kind of put all the keywords to say Hialeah, Florida, right? Which is all of maybe 20 square miles. So what would you use? And so my point is, was putting cities for local SEO, is that still dead or does that still work?
That still works. And there's a lot of different methodology behind that. Targeting many different counties or cities can work. You can have pages on your location pages that have internal links for Dade and Miami and Hollywood and Lauderdale and all these different cities. That can still work. I think the other thing that's really important now is optimizing your Google business profile, because within that Google business profile,
Time out.
yeah.
Explain that to me, because the guy who works for me is trying to hit me up for a big check to fix that. Or what is that? Explain that to everybody, what that means for a business.
Sure. There's actually a lot of opportunities within the Google business profile, which, if you search a business, say tax planning near me, they're going to list off a bunch of different businesses that do tax planning. And each one has a Google business profile that essentially shows your name, address, phone number.
So that, excuse me. So I'm sorry. So I mean, I must have that. So if I type in Hialeah Accountants or Coin Associates, is that page that has the pictures of my office, my hours
Yep.
of operations, where I have the pictures, there's all that kind of stuff?
Exactly. Yep. That's it. And that's where your reviews are as well.
Right.
And that's an area right there. Some little tweaks I can give you right now is every single review that someone leaves, reply to it. Say, thank you for the great review. Or if it was maybe a marginal review, say, hey, how can we do better? Please contact us. We'd love to do better. The key here is that you're an active, engaging business. Google knows that, and they want to see somebody who's actively engaged with their customers. There's other ways, Albert, that you can optimize the Google business profile as well, kind of on the back end. For instance, service areas you can add in the Google business profile that will show Google that you're an authority in those service areas. Also, over the last several years, there's a Q&A section. So a lot of these businesses, you'll see someone asks a question, and then you can answer the question like, hey, do you also work with corporations? Or, hey, I got audited. Can you help me? And then you need to answer those questions within the Google business profile. But here's a little trick. You can ask all those questions yourself. You can make up questions and ask them and then answer them. So it just shows Google that, hey, this guy's an engaged, active in the community. We should, reward him with rankings or show customers that, hey, you might want to check this guy out.
Very cool. So I respect everybody's time. Okay, so what's what final tip you can give us? And by the way, I have to get back to you on that one. How to
sure.
Questions.
For sure. Yeah. I'd say that the final tip I can give you is integrations and functionality. What we've kind of talked about this whole time is websites aren't just brochures anymore. Now they're tools, whether it's booking engines, e-commerce platforms, lead magnets, portals, chatbots. At the end of the day, we're trying to bring usable value to our prospects and our clients, whether it be in functionality, entertainment, information. So done right, your website, it adds value even before the customer contacts you, which builds trust, solves problems, and at the end of the day, gently nudges them toward yes. And that's what we're looking for. So when people say our website's dead, no, absolutely not. They're just getting better. And even when the AI overlords take over search, you're still going to need that central hub for your brand.
All right. So now we're coming to the end. What's some parting words, and how can they get a hold of you, Mr. Matt?
Yeah, I'd say parting words are, you need a website. Talk to somebody who is a visionary. Talk to someone who is an innovator. Talk to someone who is going to take your voice of your brand and project it onto a screen for your customers to see. Smack Happy Design does this. We take a very, very creative, interesting approach to building websites. I've worked in partnerships for many, many years. I've talked to 300 or 400 different web designing firms, and I got to tell you, there's a bunch of brilliant people here at Smack Happy. I really love this place. I know I'm biased, but we really do some great work. So smackhappydesign.com is our website. You can reach me at Matt@SmackHappyDesign. And I'd love to talk to you. Let's get it going, Albert.
All right. Well, how can they find you on social media? And we'll say it's a go.
I'm on LinkedIn only. I'm on a social media blackout aside from that. So you can get me at Matt Wollersheim on LinkedIn as well.
Well, everybody, thank you for today's show. We'd like to thank Matt. And always, if you have any questions on how you grow your business, how to increase your profits, less stress and capital, Corey & Associates has helping our clients for almost 40 years, serving 150,000 clients, okay, with consistent service to make sure you increase your profits. If you like for a free consultation, let me go this way, you just go to hit the QR code and better call Albert, and we can help you. Guys, thank you for watching today's show. Like you always say, sharing and caring, and we'll see you on our next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'll stop the recording. Can you make stop it?